What's up YouTube? I'm here to do my predictions for UFC Fight Night, Henderson versus Thatch. Let's start at the bottom. First we got Cody Pisfer versus James Moonstar, and I'll pick James Moonstar. I thought he looked really good in his debut, despite the fact that he lost. I think he looked like he had a lot more potential than Cody does, so I'll pick James Moonstar. I'm picking by TKO. Next we got Zach Makovsky versus Tim Elliott. Both these guys are kind of like submission wrestlers, but I think Zach Makovsky is just a little bit better everywhere. I think it'll be a really close fight. I think it'll be, I'm hoping it'll be like, a grappling war, grappling war fight of the night type of fight. But I think Zach Makovsky is gonna win by split decision. I think it'll be really close though. Next, Chase Skelly versus Jim Alters. I think this is going to be pretty one-sided. I think Chase Skelly probably will get a submission in the first round. Not too much to be said about that fight. I think it's a little lopsided. Next is Efrain Escudero versus Rodrigo de Lima. I don't know, with Escudero, he just doesn't look very good in his recent fight, so I don't know, it's hard to say, but I'm thinking he might come out better in this fight than he has in his last couple. I'm going to pick Escudero by submission, just because I think this is do or die for him. Because this is already his third or fourth time coming back to the UFC after being released, so I think if he doesn't win this one, he's probably never coming back. So I'll pick Escudero. I think he wins by submission. Next is Nick Lentz versus Lavin Marcusfall. And this is a late replacement fight. Marcusfall is not that great of a fighter. He's just, he's decent. I wouldn't say he's bad, but he's not Nick Lentz's level. Nick Lentz is gonna dominate this fight in my opinion. I think Nick Lentz wins this fight however he wants. And it just sucks for Levon. I think if he had a different opponent for his debut, he might have had a better chance of winning, but I don't think he has a chance against Nick Lentz. On the main card, we got Ray Berg versus Chris Kaldis, and Ray Borg looks really good in my opinion. I think he's really good at getting fights to the ground and taking people's backs and getting the rear naked choke, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen in this fight. I think Ray Borg's going to get the fight to the ground, take this guy's back, and win by rear naked choke. Next we got Michael Perez versus Kevin Lee, and this is, to me this is kind of like the Zach Makovsky Tim Elliott fight. Both these guys are kind of wrestlers. They've both got decent striking, but they're not great strikers. I know the tractor guy, Michael, has pretty good jiu-jitsu, but that's just top game jiu-jitsu. If he's on his back, his jiu-jitsu is shit. It's non-existent. I'm going to go with Kevin Lee. I think his wrestling is probably a little bit better. I think both these guys are pretty much the exact same fighter. I just think Kevin Lee's the better wrestler, and that's what I think this fight's going to come down to. I think this fight's going to be boring, just FYI. But I think Kevin Lee wins by decision. Next we got Daniel Kelly versus Patrick Walsh, and I think Daniel Kelly's the better fighter all around. I think they're just trying to feed him a win. I don't know why, because he's already won in the UFC, but I got Daniel Kelly winning by submission. I think he's just much better. Next we got Neil Magny versus Kichi Kunimoto, and this fight all depends, because if this fight goes to the ground, I think Kichi could definitely get a submission win. If it stays standing, Neil Magny will just pick him apart. But I think this fight's gonna be a lot like the fight that Cahal Pendred had against what's his face a couple weeks ago. So I'll pick Kichi Kunimoto. I know it's a slight upset, but just like with Cahal Pendred, I thought that was an upset and Cahal won, so I'll pick Kichi for this one too. I think he's just able to hold Neil against the fence and just hold him down on the ground. Next we got Max Holloway versus Cole Miller. Cole Miller hasn't fought in a while, and I think Max Holloway is kind of hitting his stride. So I think Max Holloway's probably going to win by knockout. I just think the fact that Cole hasn't fought in a while and the fact that Max has been fighting so much recently is going to be the big difference. Alright, last fight is Brandon Thatch versus Ben Henderson. And I'll pick Thatch. I just don't think Ben Henderson is big enough for 170, and I think Thatch is going to show him that if he can get knocked out at 155, then he can definitely get knocked out at 170. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe.